Hello, I'm VX and welcome back to another video. I think in Minecraft 1.9, the combat update finally coming out after all this time, it'd be really cool if I went through all of the combat related features and let you know about exactly how they work, so you can be prepared if combat or PvP is your favorite thing in Minecraft. So that's what we're going through in today's video. Hopefully you do all enjoy it. If you do, please do like it and let me know, because it helps out the channel a lot, and let me know you do like these Minecraft 1.9 videos I'm doing and want to see more. Anyway, just a quick heads up, today we're in Peach's Castle. It's one of my favorite Minecraft maps, and it's a good background for this, or I'm not sure how great it is, because the first thing I want to talk about is the golden carrot you might notice on the left of the screen. So yeah, basically one of the big changes in 1.9 that you probably are quite familiar with is dual wielding. This is a big change to Minecraft because they had to introduce an offhand slot, which means you can hold things there. And the reason this is handy is because it means if your right item, so your main item, this one right here, doesn't have a right click function, which the sword doesn't anymore, it means that you can use the right click function of your offhand at the same time. So there's a bunch of different purposes for this. You can have ender pearls in there, you can have potions in there, but you can also do cool stuff like having a bow in there. That's right, now this is the first time that you can have a bow and a sword working at the same time. You know, while your eyes in the air, you can swing, and I think that's a really cool, really revolutionary change. So yeah, bows and swords now work at the same time, and a fun little change that I think, you know, this is mostly for single player, is that if you want to hold a map and use a sword at the same time, now that's something you can finally do. I think it's hilarious that you can just hold a map like that, but yeah, that's something you can do in this update. So sword maps, sword bow, sword potion, sword anything really is pretty handy, and I just think that's pretty crazy. But you might not want to use a sword, instead you might want to use an axe. So this is something I briefly mentioned in like a 5 tips 1.9 video, and it blew quite a few people's minds, so I figured I'd explain exactly how this works, because the axe is now more powerful than the sword. And again, people just heard that and they're like, what? And basically it is kind of confusing and almost a little misleading, because although the axe is more powerful than the sword, it does more damage per hit, it does take long to regenerate. So yeah, now as of 1.9, every single item in the game has a attack speed and an attack damage. So here you can see diamond axe, attack damage 9, diamond sword, attack damage 7. However, the attack speed, the higher the better. So this means that even though this does more damage per hit, this is going to be doing more damage over time because it's going to be attacking more frequently. However, this still means that if you, you know, have a style of combat where you hit, then you run back, then you hit again, as long as you wait for this axe to fully draw each time, it means that what you can actually do is you can do more damage than someone with a sword, which is crazy because now it means that the axe is now better than the sword in some ways. Also, another, you know, kind of brief change that's worth mentioning is that the diamond hoe, because it has an attack speed, oh, by the way, here's the comparison, you know, the diamond sword and the diamond axe clearly the best, but the shovel and the pickaxe are now a little bit better than they were before because they both kind of have a use. But anyway, yeah, the diamond hoe now has just 1 attack damage still, but now it has the highest attack speed of any diamond weapon in the game at 4 attacks per second. So technically that's limited to 2 because there's damage invulnerability for half a second, but still it means that this is the fastest hitting weapon in the game, which means if you're on a server, because you don't get this in survival naturally, you have to go into creative first. If you're on a server where you get a sharpness 5 hoe, in some situations that is a better weapon than either of these two things combined, and it's just bizarre that that works that way. You can have a hoe and you can have a bow, oh that rhymes, at the same time, and it's technically a valid way of doing combat. So yeah, just something I thought you might be interested in. That's that right there. Let's move on to the next thing, which is to do with enchanting your sword or your you know, axe, because now obviously you can get sharpness on your axe. If you don't know, that's something I believe you can do as a 1.8, but now it's kind of a bigger feature because the axe is that, and sharpness itself has actually been nerfed. So yeah, if you want to put sharpness on something, it's kind of nice, but it's not as important as it was before. It used to give you a, you know, roughly a full heart per thing. Now it's a lot less than that. It's meant to kind of be weakened because a lot of the things they did in this update were kind of nerfing combat related enchantments. So yeah, although having sharpness on, putting sharpness on axe is still smart because it increases the damage, it is something worth noting that over time, the difference between the axe and the sword does kind of, you know, the gap diminishes as you get sharpness on there. Because once you have sharpness 5 on both, they both get the same benefit from that, but, and that just means there's 2 attack damage difference between the two, and that's that. Also, oh, something that I would like to mention is that when you put sharpness on there, it now, you know, it says that in your attack stat. So you can see, let me actually quickly prove this. We'll put sharpness on the sword too. As you can see right there, it goes up from 7 to 10, and as you can just kind of see here, like having that much less attack damage makes a lot less sense with, you know, the slower attacking weapon once you've enchanted it. So sharpness 5 sword, probably better than a sharpness 5 axe, but a regular diamond axe is still kind of better than that. Oh, also, the final thing is that a wooden axe is just as powerful as a diamond sword unenchanted, which is wacky, but it swings a lot slower. So yeah, that's that right there. Let's move on to the next combat update related change, which is to do with protection. So sharpness is also a lot weaker, but so is protection and also even armor in general. Because, you know, if I mentioned this a few times, I always mention on streams, every single one of those armor bars you see just above my health bar used to represent an 8% damage reduction. And it does still work that way. They've changed it a bunch of times. But now, you know, if an attack is above a certain amount of damage, it will ignore some of your armor, and it will ignore enough of your armor up down to 20%, which means that diamond armor is no longer the super immune resistance it used to be. It used to be that if you put protection 5 on all of your armor, you would have 96% protection of damage, or, you know, 1/25 of the damage you usually take. It's now been reduced massively, and it also means that sharpness is kind of like the counter to enchanted diamond armor. You might think, like, and it means diamond axes are kind of the weapon that goes through armor, whereas swords are the better weapon for not going through armor. It's bizarre the way this works, but basically, yeah, there's a few things you need to consider. The big one being that more damage does more damage through armor, not even percentage-wise, like just by absolute terms. It's ridiculous, and that's that. So, yeah, let's move on from this to the next thing here, which is actually to do with the golden apple. So, yeah, the golden apple change is one that I hear a lot of people aren't too familiar with, aren't too happy with, because they changed it so the golden apple is no longer craftable. That's right. This is one you can't really believe until you see it in the crafting table. Let's try and make a golden apple. You know, it's 8 gold blocks, and then, you can't make that. So, how do you get golden apples now, or are they just removed from the game? You can still find golden apples, but only in dungeon chests, and also they've been changed so they have a few, you know, slight nerfs and a massive buff to, instead of giving you just 2 hearts like it used to, it gives you this many hearts. And as you can see, like, we're just we really are a killing machine right now of all of our stuff. And yeah, that's something you need to bear in mind. As of this update, there is a big change to the way you know, the enchanted golden apple works. It's no longer craftable, and it was basically a nerf to gold farms to stop you from just farming gold and factions and stuff. And I get it, it's, you know, kind of sucks for some people, but, you know, the regular golden apple is still craftable, and I think that's just about fine. So yeah, enchanted golden apples now only found naturally, now more powerful in some ways, less powerful in some ways, and pretty crazy in general. So yeah, let's move on from the enchanted golden apple to the next one on the list here, which is actually to do with the bow, because if we pull out our bow as our primary weapon and then put arrows in the offhand slot, now the bow has a bunch more things it can fire. So there's a bunch of different arrows. Every single potion effect is an arrow, including harming, by the way, which is kind of crazy if you ask me. So let's just spawn a bunch of sheep so we have stuff to attack. Basically, yeah, when you have an arrow in the offhand slot, that is the arrow your bow will use. So if you want to specifically use a type of arrow and then switch out and then keep doing that, you have to use your bow in your main hand, which means there is kind of a disadvantage using your bow in this hand, you know, something worth noting. And yeah, that's that right there. And also another thing worth noting is, as well as all the potion effects, there is also spectral arrows. So spectral arrows are really, really wacky. They're one of my favorite, like, new additions in this this update, because what they do is they give you this bizarre effect. I believe it's called glowing. We'll attack ourselves and show you it. It's called glowing, and it's something you need to watch out for. It's this thing right there. Basically, while this is an effect, you can be seen through walls like that. So we attack a bunch of sheep just randomly like so. As you can, there's some sheep. As you can see, even through walls where we shouldn't be able to see them, we can still see the sheep's outline, and this is going to be super handy for PvP. It essentially means that now PvP has spotting. As well as spotting, it also has the ability to attack your allies from a distance, because as well as damage, you also get, like, night vision arrows, you get fire resistance arrows, leaping arrows, you get all these crazy things, and I just, you know, it's basically going to be a pretty exciting update as far as combat goes, for, you know, bow reasons, sword reasons, and all that sort of stuff. So the final, you know, change here related to, when it comes to this update is actually to do with healing. So healing, the way it used to work is every 4 seconds, I believe it was roughly, you would heal half a heart if you had 9 hunger bars or above. Now saturation, which was a hidden value that not too many people knew about before, has come into its own, because basically you will not heal as much unless you have full saturation. So we're gonna have to, like, fall off we're gonna have to get hit a bunch basically to actually lose some saturation, because, you know, when you lose hunger it goes down quite a bit. But basically, yeah, you're gonna have to see us lose some hunger bar, because as you can see, while we have the max saturation, we heal up so fast. That half heart just instantly heals up, because it heals 8 times faster if you have max saturation now, which is a really handy little change. So yeah, before you go into a fight, it's imperative that you eat something high saturation. The best food you'll usually find is cooked steak or cooked pork chop. If you can get a golden carrot, this is now the best food, because it will give you healing for longer. It's kind of like having regeneration on, but just for eating normal food, and I think that's a nice little change there. So yeah, a bunch of changes in Minecraft 1.9. They include the enchantments, protection, and sharpness being nerfed. They include being able to dual wield, you know, anything you want to, including a bow and an axe, which is crazy, or, you know, a sword and a map, or a sword and potion, or a sword and ender pearl. The bows have come into their own with so many new arrow types and so many new ways to use all those arrow types. Armor has been nerfed so that it gives you a slightly less damage, damage protection against high attacks. And yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, and finally, golden apples not longer crafted. They are found naturally in random chests. So let me know what you thought of today's video with a comment down below. Otherwise, please do like the video if you did like it, share it if you really likes it, and subscribe if you're new around here. I make videos like this every single day on my channel, and if subscribed, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Again, I really want to know, like, after knowing all of this, do you think the combat update is exciting now? Because there's still so much resistance to my comments saying, oh, yeah, the golden apple changes, they ruined it, or this or that. But I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to playing around with this. And as, you know, you'll probably see some PvP streams, or you've probably seen some already this week, where I'm going to be testing it out and probably sucking for a little bit, but I want to learn to do all this stuff. So, yeah, that's everything I have to say today. Hope you did all enjoy it, and I'll see you all in the next... Oh, that's a shame. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.